Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where we're here to learn to be experts and break down technical analysis of football. We don't do that fan nonsense drama here, but I do want to cover some of this World Cup stuff first at the beginning. I'm going to do a roundup at the end about my thoughts about what's going to be happening with this, but I'm going to put it in a couple of the videos as we go. Like I was saying with the Saudi Arabia teams, and the purpose of this World Cup was for them to get to the finals or win it. So then they can argue, well, we're good enough to be in the Champions League because that's the end goal, in my opinion, of what this World Cup is really all about, is to get those Saudi teams into the Champions League, however that is. Now, the more I was thinking about it over the weekend, and I want to know your thoughts about this as well, I was thinking through the thought process of, you're talking about £100 million, pound for the prize money. That's the winner. And then 80, then 60, and it goes all the way through. And they're putting about £1 billion up for this tournament. And that's coming through sponsorship deals from DAZN, who was bought by the Saudis and coming through. So you have to think about the longevity of the tournament. So this tournament isn't going to last 3 to 5 years unless Saudi keep funding £1 billion each year. Well, I wouldn't put it past them. But you've got to look at this tournament and what's it about, right? In 5 years, is this tournament still going to exist? Are they going to run it again next summer, the Club World Cup, and have to put in £1 billion again? Because you'd expect it to come from, returns of sponsorship deals on TV. Nobody cares, so there's no sponsorship. Butts in stands, well, there's no one's watching it, really. Well, except for Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, which Bayern Munich, PSG, which we're going to come on to in a second, and the reason why they're watching those games is because it's Bayern Munich and PSG. PSG want to beat Bayern Munich. To them, this is a Champions League game. This isn't a Club World Cup game or whatever Mickey Mouse thing it is. That's why this stadium is full. But if those revenues aren't coming in and they're not getting the TV deals, which they're not, it's not going to happen. Next year, there's not people are going to throw more money at this because objectively, this is a complete and utter failure financially. Regardless of what happens on the field or the football, or we have some good games, from a business point of view, this is a complete and utter failure. So next year, they're going to have to run it again. Next year, they're going to have to put £1 billion in again. You can't sustain doing that to build a tournament if every year you're going to put in £1 billion. Can the Saudis afford it? Yeah, probably. But for 5 years, waste £5 billion? And maybe the prize pool has to go up because the clubs complain and it's not, they're not happy for 100 million. They want 150 million now to come across. And then you get into the logistics point of view where, is it going to be held in North America again with this heat again? Well, if they're going to be in Europe, that gives all the European teams an advantage. The South American teams aren't going to be happy. Like, was it going to be in South America? Well, so logistically, it's a nightmare. All of the things, the more you think about this, they have to reproduce this again next year and fix all the faults that they've had this year. They can't. So is this just going to be a one-time deal that we get to watch this and it's just a bit of a... Yeah, remember that Club World Cup once that played in the summer once? It's going to be really interesting to see how this goes on. And someone will go, oh yeah, but I've read the FIFA contract and it's for this. Contracts are made to be broken. There's a reason a contract's there, because the handshake is gone. The honourability of actually seeing a contract goes through all the time. Ask a divorce attorney. But let's just get back onto this for a second, because I want to show you, highlight some points here about Bayern Munich and what they're doing really well. And because they gave PSG a bit of a run for their money. But you can see that they actually pressed a PSG quite well. We're here. And the only way PSG get out is with this worldy pass. And it's rather good. That's why I'm highlighting it. The ball's dropped back, and it is just pinged with the outside of the foot. Now, he doesn't get it all the way there. He doesn't. The defender ends up, winning the ball. But I just want to highlight the quality of the pass. But then, when the defender wins it, this is inexperience. The minute that defender receives the ball, he has to pass it. He has to. He's just got to keep the ball moving. He doesn't. He holds on to it. It's 2 minutes into the game. Holds on to it. 1-2. Tries to turn. Now, this turn is so poor at this level. It harkens back to when I think I was probably 16 and I was playing against the defender who was, trying to do a little step over and turn me because he was facing his own goal. I was behind him. He's done a step over to try to shimmy. I just take the ball off him, run and whack it in the goal. And everyone was like looking at him like, what are you doing? Well, I didn't know he was that good. I didn't know he was that good. And then he goes, he's not that good. You just telegraphed your move as a defender and you're really bad. You've got your back to the player. You're back to the direction you want to be going. You're facing this way. Drop the ball off, play out and keep it safe. This is absolutely terrible. Bomph robs the ball and on they go. Now, they don't score from it. But that in the second minute, That shows that all we've got to do is lump a ball up to your defenders, and as long as it's behind them and they're facing their own goal, we can run up and nick it off them because you're not good enough. That is terrible. But let's move it on. I want to show you this because I harp on people's mistakes all the time, because that's generally what you do when you're a critical analysis guy. You can't fix things that they do well. You just fix things that they do wrong. And it's funny when there should be, and there isn't, right? A track of when people do things well, report that. But clubs don't necessarily have that. They have the guys, when they're doing it wrong, report that. You should have the other, inverse opinion of it. And that's what I'm doing here. Watch Hakimi. He makes a massive mistake. The ball gets passed. Watch this. Bump. This is important, right? Because the goal that PSG score in the near the end is because of this. All right, you're going to go, really, Cash? Yes. I'm going to show you at the end and show you why. But it's this. This is the reason why. And again, it'll be overlooked because people haven't played enough football, they haven't done enough coaching, they haven't done enough analysis, and they don't actually know the actual intricacies that make you win football games and lose football games. You can be set up, do the best thing. As I've always said, I'll coach origami paper folding to my team and I'll still beat you on the weekend because you don't know what you're doing. Okay, watch from here. There we go. He's made his mistake. Boom. Now, this is the important part. His recovery run. He's absolutely made a fatal error. Fell over. Can't do that because you're just going to get done. But this is perfect. Defender sees it, comes over and covers for him. And guess what he does? Comes in and covers for his defender. Oh, my goodness. The same thing that you teach your under 10s. Yeah. Look, watch. Boom. Perfect. Crossing pattern. Great. Not only that, he's perfectly distanced away from him, knows he can't go down the line because his mate's got pace, and if he does, he's going to shut down the half space and cover him for him anyway. Absolutely perfect. He's ready for the pass to come back. Absolutely brilliant. Watch his movement here, because this is the difference of a football player and someone who goes, well, I play right back, and I'm like most of the players, and the ball's not in my position, so I'm not going to go over to where he is. Watch what he does. As the ball's moved, boom, frozen. Perfect, but you can see the gap. You know I'm going to yell about the gap. You know the chance is going to happen because there's a massive gap in the defensive unit right here. Is he back defending properly? Yeah. Watch what happens. Bump, ball gets moved, shifted over. As it goes to get played, watch his reaction. Bump, goes to pressure the ball. Doesn't go out far enough because he doesn't have to because he's a defender, but stays in his zone and he covers his teammate's job perfectly. Now, Bayern ended up doing a little chip pass on a run and trying to get a shot off. But defensively, even though they've made an error there, perfect. Great. Recovered from it. Donnarumma makes a save. And you all know my feelings on Donnarumma. I don't know if he's a good goalkeeper or a bad goalkeeper because I just don't think he gets tested enough in the league he's in for us to see whether or not he's got the mustard or not up here. So, I am going to show you the Donnarumma leg breaky thingy. But boy, was that hard to find in the UK. I want to show you this shot as well against Emmanuel Neuer's in goal. And Neuer, he's a decent goalkeeper. He's not best in the world anymore. He's not top 5, but he's definitely top 10. He's thereabouts. If Emmanuel Neuer's coming to your team, you're not disappointed, are you? Even at the age he is. Now, I know that this striker is doing something wrong because I can remember coming on at halftime in a game once upon a time and getting yelled at for doing this exact thing. And went, oh yeah, because I used to do a lot of martial arts, Jeet Kune Do, way of the intercepting fist, and it's all about telegraphing your moves, telegraphing your punches, your kicks, and everything else. Okay, now the important part, if you're telegraphing something, what that means is the other person is reading it before you've actually created the action. So he's in the action of taking a shot, but you've already told the other person what you're doing. And remember, body language is quicker than the mind. He's already reacted to the body language. He hasn't even thought about it. So let's watch. See if you can see. I'll try to stop it right on the right point. Boom, there you go. See what he's done? Let's rewind that ever so slightly. That's too much, Cash, you fool. Right, we'll move it up. We'll get to the point where he's going to put his foot. It's better if I do it. Otherwise, you see me rewinding it like a moron. Right, so this is the point. Watch when this foot goes down. And watch what his shoulders do. All right? Watch what his shoulders do. Foot goes down, boom. Do you see his shoulders? Do you see how it suddenly changed? His run has changed and his shoulders have opened up. He's completely opened up his body and he's shown where that's going. It's going right up into that corner. He hasn't pulled his shot over here. He can't do that because his body language is dictated. The reason he can't pull that is because the ball's too far behind him. Bump. Save. Easy. Opened up his body, shown it, Too easy. Let me review it one more time so you can look at his shoulders. As soon as that foot's come down, he's changed his body shape. Instantly, you know where it's going, and he's saved it. Dumph. Straight away. It's too simple. Let's move it up. Want to know why he's not top 5 in the world anymore? This is the reason why right here. You can't make mistakes like this at this level. Gets caught out. I mean, it's just awful. To be fair, right, if he was any sort of football player with one player there and one player there, what he should have done is just ran forward to here and then passed it on the ground and hoped he didn't lose it and run back in goal as quickly as he could. But completely and utterly disaster. Now I want to show you this. Now this is what I call the dark arts of football, but PSG didn't do it. Okay, you've got VAR. Now, I don't condone this. I would never ask my players to do it. My players are always honest. But you know, there's coaches out there that would have their team do this, and you know those players that would do it. Who would do it? Luis Suarez would do this all day long. Diego Costa, he's another one. He would do this all day long. But watch this arm here. Remember, this will be reviewed on VAR. As it comes up, what's he done? What's he done? He's put his hand on a player like he's trying to catch a ball. Then what's he done? He's grabbed his shirt, fall over, don't take the kick. He gets sent off as a red card because he's the last person towards you in the goal. You know it, and I know it, and you know it. There'll be strikers in the comments below right now that'll be smart enough. As soon as that grab comes in, they'd get the player sent off, wouldn't care about the goal. Yeah, and they'd be good luck with that, my mates. That's exactly what they'd do, and you know it. Can't think of any more off the top of my head, but let me know in the comments below. Let's move it on. Just have a little look here. This is the start of the goal for PSG, and I think it's Harry Kane that loses the ball. This is a place you don't want Harry Kane to have the ball. He's not a good footballer. And remember, my terms of a footballer isn't someone that can score goals, isn't someone that can make a good pass. So when you're in trouble like this, you've got the technical ability to get rid of those two players and then move the ball really quickly over to here. How does that mean get rid of these two players, beat them? It doesn't mean Messi dribble them. It could be anything. You just roll the pass straight out over here. A lot of the South American teams wouldn't have been caught in this if you've been watching them. That ball would have been flicked out over there. No dramas. Harry Kane thinks he's a bit better than he is. If it's him, I think it's him that loses the ball. And then they're on the counter-attack. Now, also, the reason why this is important and he's not a footballer is because he doesn't read the two players that have run past him. At that point, you have to release the ball because you know that there's no backup behind you. You know there's a gaping hole. Two players have gone past you. The ball has to go forward. Even if you do a rubbish, go chase into the corner flag, lads. I'll put it over there. Doesn't see it. Doesn't have the footballing IQ to actually do that. Now, this is the other thing. Here he is chasing back with no sort of real intent, because if he had intent, he'd be running towards the ball. No, nowhere near it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 PSG players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Bayern Munich players. But there's one that isn't actually. Look at him running. He's nowhere near going to challenge for that ball. And you know, I say it week in, week out. If you run towards that ball and you can't win the ball, you stop one of your teammates running to go and win the ball because they see you doing it and assume they don't have to. And it's all subconscious. It's not, oh, he's going to go win the football. No, they just go, all right, he's doing that job. I'll get back on with my job. They don't check out who the player is. They don't check out if he's capable of winning that ball. None of that goes through their heads. They just watch. And that's what happens here. Not a defender. Gets completely and utterly done. Do you remember those players that were running forward down the other end of the field? They probably would have been in this zone about here. Because look, you got your 4, your 2. They're all pushed back a bit. There's no numbers here to defend this at all. And the next thing you know, the ball's cut back. Boom, takes a touch. No pressure. And Neuer gets done on the... He should... Oh, actually, is this the goal? Hold on. Is this the goal? Boom. Yes, this is the goal. Oh, my God. This is the goal. This is the exact same thing is the Hakimi mistake. All right, let me show you, and let me show you why. And this goes back to my little rant at the beginning of the video about the sustainability of this nonsense tournament. These fields are getting laid down a couple of days before, chucked down, and they go, oh yeah, but we do it for the NFL. There's a different level of player, of professional football player, than NFL players. Completely different. And what happens? You saw Hakimi slip. You saw Neuer slip. Now, he'll know he could have saved that. He knows it. He knows he could have saved that, but he slipped. What does that come down to? The quality of the field. And everyone will say, both teams have to play on the bad field. No, they don't, because this field isn't like a Real Madrid stadium, or, you know, this is just a blah-de-blah Mickey Mouse stadium for a Mickey Mouse tournament. That is going to be reviewed by their goalkeeper coach. And I tell you what, because One of the main things footballers are really, really good at doing is not taking responsibility for anything. That's why they don't, no, I didn't do that bad. That's why they're able to move forward and be so good, because they're never looking back at any mistakes. No, I didn't make a mistake there. There's no way they're going to own that mistake. They're going to say that's the field's problem. They're going to look back at all the other slips on the field, and they're going to go, yeah, you know what? We wouldn't have gone 1-0 down there if this was a decent field. We saw Hakimi slip. He's done it. Yeah. Awful field conditions. Look at him. He knows he could have got it, but his foot's gone because the field's rubbish. Let's move on. This was a red card challenge all day to me. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Studs up. He's lucky he hasn't broke his ankle right there and right then. Now, I think it was an English referee, Anthony Taylor, referee in the game. But there, it's a red card all day long for PSG. However, the next one I'm about to show you, I don't think it is. Let's move on to that one. That's a red card. Come on, mate. You can't do that. You see, to me, look, Anthony Taylor's looking straight at it. I just don't rate him as a referee because he's English. So, if you're looking here, is it an elbow to the face? Yeah, kind of. Is it I'm trying to knock him out? No, because he hasn't gone backwards. His elbow's gone and it's about a level with the shoulder. He hasn't pushed it backwards into the player, right? He hasn't. Let's just show that one more time, just so you can see. Look, he hasn't pushed it back into the player. He's only hit the player's chin ever so slightly, and he hasn't hit him. He's hit him, but he hasn't hit him. Does that make sense? He hasn't. Oh, I've got you, and smashed you in the face. He's made himself big. The guy's hit him, touched his shoulder, and he's pulled his arm away from him. He didn't extend the arm through his chin. That's a yellow card. It's not a red card. He hasn't intentionally gone trying to knock the player out. He's braced himself. As soon as the player's touched it, he's pulled himself back. Let's just see if we are right, Cash, because, he's pulled it forwards, not backwards. His arm ends up here, and his arm didn't finish back here. If it finished back here, it's a red card because he's gone through the player to hit him. He hasn't. As soon as he's touched him, he's moved it forward out of the way. He's got him sent off all day long. And that's one of the players I was saying earlier, when Donnarumma came out and grabbed him, would have gone down easily and got Donnarumma. Was it Donnarumma? You know what I mean. The thing I just showed you a minute ago. You know what I mean. Right, let's move it on before I keep talking myself into a hole. This is going to be a bit out of order. I'm going to go back. Actually, I'm going to start at the start of this goal, but I really want to show you this quite. It's kind of a messy, this goal, it really is. But I want to show you this first, then I'm going to go back to the start, okay? Because there's a couple of key points I want to make. This is a footballer. 1, 2, 3 Bayern Munich players around him. What does he end up doing? He ends up keeping it going. He's got all three around him. They're still trying to pressure him, still trying to win the ball, and the rest of Bayern Munich has switched off. I think it's because they assume it's 1-0 and they've lost in, a couple of minutes, or it's more likely than not, it's the same thing. I don't know if you've been in this situation where the other team's got 2 players sent off. They're trying really, really hard, and you just assume you don't have to because you've got more numbers on the field. Now, he's beaten them, bump, straight in. You look, breaks from his player. Doesn't do a single thing to follow him. Doesn't track him. Just go with your man. You've done all the hard work running back. Plays it off. Puts it into the net box. Simple as. But this all starts from this one little mistake right here. And this is why Anthony Taylor's a bad referee. He's just setting that elbow off, right? Which I guarantee you it's going to be 50-50. Half the people are going to go, oh, it's definitely a red card. Yeah, because you never really played the game. And the other half are going to go, yeah, I can see your point. He's pulled his arm away as soon as he's touched him. So there's no intent there. It's a yellow. He's caught him in the chin. Yeah, fair. The Bayern Munich players think he's going to be given a foul here because the referee is inconsistent and he doesn't know what he's doing. So watch the Bayern Munich player here lose the ball, go down holding his face, and everyone else from PSG goes on. Now, there's a couple of other interactions that make them score the goal, but that problem right there, Bayern Munich goes down because they think the referee's going to give a free kick because, well, he has been all game. You saw him send that guy off. That's the problem with inconsistent referees. If he wasn't an inconsistent referee, the Bayern player doesn't go down like that, and he probably wins the ball and carries on playing. That's the problem in football. Inconsistent referees. But I do want to cover this Donnarumma challenge. Right, first off, this was almost impossible for me to get in the UK because the content was restricted. How bizarre is that? I mean, but we're going to make it a world, everyone can watch it. Rubbish. Look at the players. He should never be in this situation. You can see the goalkeeper. And by the way, Donnarumma's massive. He's not a small lad. He's a massive, massive human being. You're never winning the ball. You're on the wrong side of the defender. You keep going with the challenge and your leg gets caught. Keeper's got the ball. You shouldn't be there. It's all the striker's fault. Keeper's not at fault in any way, shape or form. You're a muppet for going in for a challenge like that. Absolute muppet. Ends up breaking his leg. Out for 6 months. But that goes back on to the problem about this event in the first place is, well, some teams were going to get affected by this. There's going to be some European team that ends up losing a player or two because of this event, or by Christmas, all their players are knackered. And that is going to be, for all the naysayers, they're going to hold it up and go, look at this, look at this. And that's not what anyone needed if they wanted this tournament to move forward. Other than that, if you're still here, give me a like and one of those thumbsy uppy things, and I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.